Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of the Soup Breakdown. Today we'll be looking at the XXXG-01H2 Gundam Heavyarms Custom. I really like a lot about the Heavyarms, and then there are some things that are very questionable that we'll get into when it comes to Heavyarms. So right off the bat, Heavyarms has the standard, or non-standard, Gatling. It cannot be charged, and it will fire 40 rounds at a time. It fires them pretty much in a straight line, and then will slowly recharge over time. It does not have a basic melee attack. What it has instead, I moved him up to normal so that we could get burst more quickly, and man. So it has instead these missiles that it fires for its standard melee. If you spam them, you will eventually charge it and get to use the fully charged version. But they will fire directly in front of you and then home in on the target. Which is pretty nice. You also have this... That's not the button I meant to press. Oh, get away, please. You also have this full payload that you get 2 charges of at a time. There are 2 variations of it, as you saw there, and I will show you more of that in a moment. You have this flip that you can do that's really nice. It's for anybody who's seen Wing, it's a really cool moment when Trowa does that. And then you have this dash. We talked about how disparate the kit feels sometimes. You can cancel this into, or you can fire the missiles while you're doing the spin, which is really nice. And you can fire them while you're doing the backspin or the forward spin as well. But they will not have quite the same options of aiming directly at an opponent the way that the side jump does. The dash feels completely useless to me in most places. You can't cancel out of a melee into it unless you pull back first to cancel the dash regularly. But he does have a basic melee there with the knife. Even though all the other melees are just the missiles. You cannot cancel into a ranged attack. You have to stop the dash first to be able to do it, which just makes it feel really strange to me. It definitely has its uses. Dashing away from a Garobi is one of those, but your burst that I completely whiffed there is also a melee attack, which feels a little weird for how ranged the suit is for the most part. But with all that said, all my complaints out of the way, I actually really like the Heavyarms. I think it's got some really good options to it when it comes to range. It has no stun or anything like that. But what it makes up for in sheer firepower, I guess you could say, of options of the homing missiles and the ways that you can fire them. There are maps, of course, like this one that is very bad. Wow, all right. Talk about it. Okay. Maps like this one that are very, very bad for the missiles because there's so much that can get in the way of them. Then there are other maps that are more open that are amazing for them. So Heavyarms for me is a very, very good range suit, especially for mid-range. Long range, not so much. It doesn't really have a lot of options at long range, but for mid-range, Heavyarms is very, very good. I'm going to try and show the burst off this next time, see if we can do that a little better. As a 300, Heavyarms is pretty cheap. I do think that there are other 300s that do the ranged game better, but for what it has, I think it's pretty good. I like playing as Heavyarms. It's fun, it's different because the melee combos. Though there are times that I find myself trying to use regular melee attacks and not having them available to use, which can be rather tiresome. But again, it's not my ranged suit of choice. But when I get it in random matches, I don't mind it so much. It's fun. There you can see the tracking not work at all on those missiles because he'd use the zero system, which is pretty cool. But I like it quite a bit. I do wish that there were some more ways to cancel attacks into other attacks. I think it'd be a lot more useful if you could. But for what it can do, I like it. It's amazing to me the difference in AI combo control when they are set on normal instead of easy. So now we're going to try and show up the burst. We got to get close. He's on normal now. The reason we had put him on easy before was for ease of use of showing off the burst. But there we go. It's a pretty fun burst. Goes into a full payload like that. I wish it fired the missiles too at point blank range, but it's not bad. Again, if I could have canceled out of that into my standard shot, I feel like I could have done a lot more damage there, but you know, it wasn't bad. There's the variation of that, which allows you to do a short range version instead. Pretty nice. There are no variations, and you cannot just do a quick cancel out of the dash again, which is very annoying in my opinion. But for what it has, for what it can do, I think the Heavyarms is definitely a fun suit. You should give it a try. With all that said, I've been Trey. This has been the Full Spectrum. Remember to always enjoy the full spectrum that the Heavyarms has to offer. だがこの勝利は何かの兆しかもしれない。